So we're supposed to talk about Bollywood in the digital age. I wanted to ask you. I mean, it was so long ago. Sita Gita. I went, took my friends on my birthday for school, school trip, even before Sholay. So I've been a fan of your work for a very, very long time. Obviously, you made these iconic films at a time when everybody was making films on film. You recently completed a film called Shimla Mirch.
That's right.
Was that made on film or digital?
Digital.
So great. So a very simple question actually. We'll probably talk about other issues, etc. That's the first film you made on digital. I'm sure Rohan has made some films on digital.
This is the first one I've made.
So as a director, talk to us about a filmmaker. What was that experience like, and why is it advantageous in various ways? What are the challenges also?
Basically, movie making is really about storytelling. Technologies keep changing. When I made Sholay, there were new technologies which I adopted in order to produce that film, direct that film. In those days, we had 70 and stereophonic sound, which was the new technology that had happened a few years before that in Hollywood. So that's how a film like Sholay was possible, because you see films in the West, you get inspired that they do such good work. Why can't we make films like they do? So the point was, let's do a good action after Sita or Gita. Let's do a good action adventure film. Easier said than done. You make that kind of promise to yourself, but then you need all that. Then you go into the technology and you go into all the problems. So producing it and making it as a director wasn't at all an easy task. You had to do a lot of things that had never been done before. We brought in technicians from England, and even film, as it was, it went, the film, the old world film, went to Technicolor, where it was made into a 70 Technology had reached a point where you could use your normal film, shoot on it, and then it would be blown up to 70 so that it could be seen on a huge screen. But whether it's the picture or the sound, again, the sound itself, you had to have a mental vision of things. If you want to feel the horse and the hooves,
From one side
you
of the
should,
theater
that's
to
right,
the other
but you
side.
have to imagine that
Right.
when you're shot,
Right.
visually has to be taken accordingly.
Right.
Otherwise, when you're actually finishing the film, you want to do things like that, but
Right.
you don't have the shot.
It's too late. Yeah.
It's too late. So you've got to conceive of it. You've got to think through all the technologies along with your storytelling. Storytelling will always be the most important. But you have to go through the whole process. That's why it took a lot of money and a lot of time to make it. So technology today has reached the digital stage, and this helps a lot of films. You start conceiving cinema in a different way. The war scenes we've seen before, in whether it was Mughal-e-Azam or anything like that, or in the West. But here, now, today, you want to reproduce on screen 1,000 horses and some stunts, unimaginable otherwise. So technology has given you that power, that something extra, which you can then, with your technicians, with your choreographers and your fight choreographers, the action choreographers, how to reproduce a particular kind of action.
Yeah, but that's a lot of VFX sort of work.
No, but you need to shoot
You need
accordingly.
to shoot accordingly, exactly, yes.
And then add those
Yes, layers to
bits
it.
in.
Yes.
But if it's not there in the original concept,
Right.
you'll never be able to do it.
So it has to start from the script itself. You're thinking from a digital point of view.
Yes. Now, the second stage, the script says this is what it should be, a fight sequence. The leading man does this and this. But your action people will sit with you, the camera guys will sit with you, and everybody will think how to reproduce this material,
Right.
this thought, and make something really wonderful out of it. It
Right.
takes a hell of a lot of work, a lot of paperwork, a lot of tests done to see how it, and then you go out and shoot. So a lot of planning goes into, so to incorporate this technology that has come up, and this will keep growing. This technology is going to keep growing, and we don't even know exactly in what direction it's going.
Right.
So,
But basic digital cameras, for instance, I mean, they've freed up filmmaking, made it easier for a lot of people. It's become cheaper to make films now. Even young people just can make a camera and just make a film or something like that, as opposed to you had to get film stock once upon a time and produce films. And
I don't think that's ever been the major cost of a film. Film stock has never been the major part of a film. I know, we used, 500 rolls of film for Sholay. But it's not, because the much more expensive part is if you go to a place like I went, there were stables for 30 horses with sizes, and that's what's behind the screen, which nobody knows. So they had to be fed for that 1.5 year that we were there, because you never know when the action scene comes up, and you've got, so they're there. So how do you actually use technology? It's important. In those days, we were trying to reproduce it for 70 mm in stereophonic sound. Today, when you go into the theaters, the competition, if technology is there, a lot of other people are making stuff too. How is your material going to be better than theirs?
yeah,
So you got to keep feeding them something fresh.
yeah.
Ideas and technology. How you combine these to do the right thing.
Yeah, I think the film distribution part probably should have become cheaper, because you don't have to send rolls of prints to theaters. Now you get the DCPs. It's definitely a cheaper way to.
Yeah, but then promoting a film is very expensive.
It's become more expensive.
10 times more expensive than any kind
Right,
of.
right.
So, costs are
It's not a cost issue at all.
not really.
Yeah. But were you able to, there's a filmmaker like Christopher Nolan, who's up for an Oscar now for Dunkirk. He still shoots in film. There are purists,
Tarantino?
Tarantino also. So
Yes.
the purists who believe that the kind of quality you get out of, I mean, for just a common, I don't know how many of you can really, I can't tell the difference between if I'm seeing a digitally shot film or whether it's, on film.
There is some difference.
Yeah.
It's not easy to explain the difference.
Right.
But the film quality will always be there, and it retains that magic after all the years. If it's well kept, it retains that. Here we are, digital can just disappear. You've got to be careful. Of course, the technology today is good enough that you keep storing it and
Right.
keep
Right.
checking on it and
Right.
seeing to it that, but even film you got to keep checking
Right.
on.
But everything is being digitally now. The whole editing process, the sound mixing, etc.
So much easier to do it that way, but the complications will always be there, because to do a good editing job, you got to look at a hell of a lot more material. You have in front of you several screens, and how to use one part of a shot with another part of a shot to create that final arch which is going to be perfect.
So when you made Sholay, your editor was actually splicing, cutting the film, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
right.
It was
The old scissor.
1975 would be
We had the
40
Steinbeck.
43 years ago?
Yeah.
43 years ago. Yeah. The other aspect of technology and digital technology, which I find really fascinating, I mean, this whole streaming thing. so I've been living in New York for many years, and only now I've come to India. And about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, everyone started talking about Netflix. Netflix, let's watch film on Netflix, and it was only like $7 or something like that. And it was, earlier it was just to see older films. But now services like Netflix and Amazon, and now they've come to India also, and they're working. I mean, a lot of young filmmakers, for instance, are going to them, not just making films, but even specials like 1 hour comedy specials, etc. Um, it's ready-made. It's content which is going absolutely to these streaming services. I mean, this is
That is
digital
right,
technology.
direct to home,
Yeah.
kind of produced for this kind of audience sitting at home.
How do you feel about it? I mean, you made Sholay. You brought, I mean, was that the first film with stereophonic sound in India?
Yeah.
Okay. So you obviously wanted the audience, and even today, Sholay should be seen on the big screen, I personally believe, really. But, and I'm a big believer in going to theaters. But you made films that are specifically for an audience experience of experience of audiences together. I mean, I remember seeing Sholay for the second time in Plaza a month after it opened, and I was completely taken aback where everybody knew the dialogues and people repeating the dialogues together. I'm like, "Ye kya ho raha hai?" It was amazing. I'd heard that's why I went to see that. They said my friend said you have to go see it again. So that experience, and I'm sure you had no anticipation it'll take off like that.
Well, not about the dialogues being spoken by the audience before the characters on
Right,
screen.
right. But you also released the LP album of the dialogue
That's
also.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
that's right.
But I'm just saying from that time onwards to now, the films are going directly to Netflix and Amazon. What do you think about that? It's very good in some ways, in terms of
You can get the grandeur even on that. It's today technology has made it possible for huge screens, TV screens.
that's true. That's true.
And if you have a damn good sound system,
At home, yes,
you will not miss.
yes,
IMAX is a whole different experience today.
yes.
But you have technology that will bring it home to you also in damn good technological richness. All the sound and the fury and the. So they took, today the platforms have multiplied, as a matter of fact. There was only cinema at one stage. Then television came in. Today you have the web series. That's added on. These are the main platforms.
Yeah, I was going to talk
But the
about
kind of things that are being done today, even the ad films, the documentaries, so the these series on, as you said, Netflix and Amazon coming through, streaming through into your homes. But the content will always be important. See, some of it is just entertainment. You have song and dance, and television has a lot of that material. But you do not have content. I was watching Steven Soderbergh work on the Netflix channel, The Nick. It's about medicine and the way it has come down from the 1900s to now. So it's actually a historical document. But you get so involved in the story and the characters that you are learning about medical history through people, which is the perfect form of storytelling. Any story, anything you want to tell the audience, whether it's history, geography, whether it's fighting the seas and it's important to tell the story right. So you get involved, you enjoy the technical qualities of that, but it is important that you tell the story right.
I don't know if many people in the audience will probably remember that. I think after you did Shan and Shakti, you stepped into a completely different world. You created Bunyad for Doordarshan. I'm sure many of you know the show Bunyad, which probably was, along with Hum Log, I think the first of that kind of
That
series.
kind of.
So what's fascinating is, and Bunyad ran for almost a year plus.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
actually talked about it a few months ago, talking about films made during partition or about partition. But what we are seeing now on the 13 episodes that suddenly appear on Netflix and Amazon. You did that in a much more elegant way for 1 year time period when you made Bunyad. How do you feel? What has changed, and are you happy with this change?
See, it's always a challenge. For me, at that time, that was the challenge. How can I make a film of more than 3 hours? And it would be broken up, episode after episode. I have to keep audience interest alive. I have to keep them involved with the characters.
The whole script was not written at the beginning. No, you're writing it while
The line was there,
Right.
but not the
Right.
details of each episode. But to do all that, by the way, that's where I met my wife, Kiran,
Yes.
and that was the bunyad.
Yes. Yes.
Of,
I'm aware of that. Yes.
So, and it's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday! Where is she hiding? Is she at the back? Oh, you can see her from that side.
Yes.
Happy birthday! I think we should all sing happy birthday to her. Come on, guys. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Kiran.
Kiran. Happy birthday to you.
See, we're giving you warm birthday greetings on a very cold Delhi night. So yeah, you were talking about creating
So
Bunyad and
storytelling for television is different, and that's what started then. Today, it's being followed up. Today, you're seeing it. The format has changed. What we're seeing, 10 episodes of 1 hour each every season. But that is intense storytelling, really intense. So when I see someone, and you're talking about grandeur, Game of Thrones, the kind of grandeur that has been brought onto the streaming world. It's fantastic. You don't miss that. I mean, you get that, and it's being made in several countries at the same time.
Right,
Some
right.
portions.
right.
In one country
They have
and
huge
some-
budgets.
yeah, it's unbelievable
Right,
the way they
right.
work it all out. And everybody's participating and everybody's watching.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So technology gives you all the help. But for all this to happen,
Right.
as technology changes, our way of viewing it also changes. Our way of life around it changes. I think it's also important that people should learn all these things because the platforms are so many. You need that particular training in so many different fields, as you can understand that in order to make one product, one of those millions of products, hundreds of thousands of things happening in the world, if it takes so long, how many people are required who think behind the screen?
Yeah.
The actors is one thing, but then the people behind also. So
Yeah.
it takes so many people coming together.
How do you react to young people, 15-year-olds, even younger? They watch everything on these smartphones. Now, I've watched films on smartphones sometimes, but it's the art, the experience of movie going. And I was talking about, earlier, the only way to see Sholay is, there was 70 Plaza in Delhi once upon a time was a remarkable theater. That has been lost somehow. Do you think something has been lost at least? I love the idea of technology. I think technology is very, very important because the quality of work that you're making looks much more spectacular.
I will keep repeating it. It's not just technology. Technology will neither destroy nor make a work. It's the storytelling that will always come through. And if storytelling comes through correctly, technology can only help. it can make things easier in a way. But nothing can replace good storytelling. So whether it's, see, as I said, Game of Thrones has been created, but is it just the war scenes you want to see there? You want to see that little guy, he is such a dynamic actor, and he's not a superstar on the big screen.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
Today, you wait to watch him.
Yeah.
So you want to see the actor, you want to see the other scenes, you want to see the romance, you want to see all the intrigues, you want to see everything about history, or at least it's told. History is told in...
Right.
So I think one should neither be afraid of technology. A lot of technology can be misused, and then it irritates. But if used correctly in your storytelling, it can only help. For that, you got to learn. And I will come to something important in my life today. I have started an academy called the Ramesh Sippy Academy of Cinema and Entertainment, along with Mumbai University. And a 3-year course in filmmaking gets you a degree at the end of it. Again, very important for parents, also as for children. We didn't have this in our times.
Well, you were born into the family. You
Yes,
learned at the
I
job.
learned on the
On
set.
the split, yeah.
Okay, a lot of people, whether it was Raj Kapoor
Right.
or
Right.
all the
Exactly.
big makers, they
Yeah.
learned on the set.
Right.
But as you can see, the amount of work going around today, you think it can only happen with, and there are young people who want to be part of it. So how can you give this to them? They need to learn.
But this is actually the first time a BA degree is being given by a
That's
major
right, that's
university. I mean,
right.
you have Pune Institute and everything else.
Yes, and Mr. Subhash Ghai.
Subhash Ghai is doing it also, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So it's wonderful, and we need more.
Yeah.
Even this is not enough.
Right.
Because in order to produce and to bring to screen, or for you to stream into your homes, you
Right.
need good material, helped with all the technology, storytelling, talents. So I don't think I can make somebody a completely talented person. That will have to come from inside the individual. But I can certainly train that person, lady or gentleman, young boy or girl, to understand cinema and what all goes into it, how to go about it from ideation to the final product. It's a very long journey. So to learn all these things, I think today I'm proud and happy to say that I have a place where I can do that for people.
Has the program already started?
It has.
Okay.
Last July it started.
I see. So it's the first class in
The first class is
yeah.
on. It'll be
Right.
over this year. But it's a long journey.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important for this to happen. And we've also teamed up with the Media and Entertainment Skill Council. And because so many young people, India is trying to promote this so that young people learn. So we are also tied up with them for certain programs. They will, they have seen our work, and they have they are affiliated to us. They will be part of issuing that certificate that this is a kind of a program they've learnt which will help them get those jobs. And I think the government is also trying very hard to help young people get into any kind of work. This is one of the very important ones also. And probably more satisfying. A lot of people like to get into it, but they're lost. They don't know how to go about it. So I think it's opening up.
Yeah.
The avenues are opening up, training avenues, and then they can go on to their...
Right. I was going to open it up to the audience. I just wanted to ask you one question about making Simla Mirch, your new film he's made with Hema Malini. what is the most exciting?
Rajkumar Rao.
And Rajkumar Rao, exactly, yes, who's a friend of mine actually. What are the most exciting thing you discovered about digital filmmaking while doing it? What is very interesting?
It's actually, it's a simple story.
Yeah.
It's a very simple story. So simple storytelling, it seems that you can't do much with technology. How would it help a very simple story to be told? But it did. While I was there shooting, we were on the main Mall Road.
In Simla or Missouri?
In-
Simla, Metro, Simla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Shimla. And we said, the story has a little cafe where the girl works and where the boy meets the girl. So, what we have, I said, if I shoot here, thousands of people gather all the time. It'll be impossible. So what we did is took some parts of the Mall Road, we made plates of that, then went back to Bombay, recreated the set, and when you see it on film, you'll actually see it on the Mall Road. And all the outdoor shots were taken over there, but all the indoor work, which was about a month's work, was done.
Did your
on that
actors go to
set.
Shimla at all? Or?
Yes,
Oh, they
we
did. Okay, yeah.
For
yeah.
a-
So
we
other
went for
scenes, other scenes, yeah.
No, even for these scenes.
Right.
We went there. The ins and outs
Right.
were all over there.
Right.
But the actual drama took place on the sets in Bombay, and you feel that you're in Simla.
Right. No, that filmmaking is a amazing magic.
That's it. And like that, simple things can be done.
Right.
Very complicated things can be done.
Right.
It just brings a whole new world.
Right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the memories and thank you. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.